Hi everyone, in today's video I'll be doing a guide on the evil mode of the 12 palaces. It took me a long time to do this purely because once you clear a level you can't actually refight again. So I can't actually show you some of the demos when I first cleared everything. So I actually had to make a Smurf account just to get a chance to get quite far enough in the game again to even clear the last levels. I still haven't managed to clear every single one of them. Some of the ones, such as Shaka, is actually really difficult. But I still managed to get to the second last stage, and the concept is the same. So in this video, I'll be talking through kind of the tactics and the strategy behind how to clear every single one of them. Some of them where it may be useful for demonstration. I'll be showing you a video clip of some of the techniques I talk about. But for most of the ones here, it's actually pretty straightforward. You just pick your best team, or you pick a particular certain characters in your team, to help you to clear that. All right, so now let's just go through them one by one. In the first one here, you would have normally Aries. Obviously, right now, once again, it's not very easy for you to show which palace I'm talking about because they only show four at a time. But I'm just gonna go in order. So the first one is Aries. Aries mood. The trick here is that he will be putting up a crystal wall, which will bounce off the damages, etc. So it's very straightforward. Just turn off your auto attack mode. Once you have your ultimate, keep hold of them until the crystal wall goes away, and then fire them all when there isn't a crystal wall. So basically, just charge up your ultimate, wait until the crystal wall goes away, and then fire them away, etc. So pretty straightforward here. Next one we have Taurus Aldebaran. Taurus Aldebaran also do bounce damages. However, he is able to do this for the whole time without any kind of crystal wall or any kind of skill usage, etc. So what you want to do here is just to bring lots of healers, and basically just don't use ultimate at all for the whole battle. You basically want your healing to be at the same pace as you deal damage. So as long as you bring lots of healers, normally I would recommend Misty, Hound Asterion, Aris Mu, etc. Water doesn't really have a good healer, so if you do have a Cena, bring her. Otherwise, just bring your strongest water knight, such as Moses, or anyone who's defensive like Moses. That's what I meant. Um, so yeah, so basically, just don't fire any ultimate. Just make sure your healing is at fast enough pace so that you don't die out while attacking him. Then we have Gemini Sega. Gemini Sega is probably one of the easiest ones. There's no trick here. Once you are strong enough level, then you can just clear it without any kind of consideration at all. So that's straightforward. Then we have Deathmask. Deathmask is a bit tricky because what happens is that he only comes out once you kill certain number of knights. I believe the first time is he comes out when you kill like 20 skeleton enemies, and then he come out again once you kill 45 skeleton enemies. But he only stays for a short amount of time because if you do too much damage to him, he would then just go hide away. And that's really annoying because if he keep on doing this, it's gonna require you to do loads of damage in a short amount of time in order to kill him before the 90-second mark. So the trick here is that you want to charge up your ultimate once he's about to be coming out. So normally he will be first appearing after you kill 20 skeletons. So normally what I tend to do is once you kill about between 10 to 15, I will stop using any ultimate. I will just keep hold of my Cosmos, etc. When Deathmask is out, don't release it yet. There is gonna be a bar indicating when Deathmask will go away, hide away. So basically what you want to do is you want to keep note of how much health Deathmask have just before Deathmask hits the bar where he's about to hide away. Fire all of your ultimate at one go. Normally, if you fire enough ultimates, you will be able to kill him off straight away. If not, then he will go into hiding, but don't worry about that because he will be appearing again once you kill 45 skeleton knights. So what to do there is once again, once you kill about 35 to 40, you keep hold of your ultimate. And this time round, because you would have done a lot of damage the first time round when that spot came, he might just come out and go hide straight away. So this time, don't wait anymore. As soon as Deathmask come out, just fire all of your ultimate, and that should be enough to wipe him out. So that's basically how you want to clear Deathmark. And in terms of the knights, there are two knights that I recommend. One is uh, Leo Aurora, and the second one is Cancer Deathmark. Both of them get stronger once enemies are killed off. And in this game mode, you are literally going to face off 50 enemies. So bringing those two knights going to help you tremendously in your battle here. Next, we have fighting against Leo. I haven't really seen anything that you need to be, conscious of here. Basically, just bring your best team, and normally you should be able to win. Then we go to Virgo Shaka. Virgo Shaka is definitely the hardest stage here. I haven't really figured out any way to clear it other than just bring really defensive knight and at high enough level. To be honest, this is normally the last stage I'm able to clear. Basically, what you need to hear is to make sure your knight survive long enough. Now, for the very first round, what you can do is you can cheat a bit, and in fact, I do definitely recommend bringing those two knights. One is Agate, and one is Poseidon. So basically, what happens is Poseidon, because he has this bounce damage, he will help to ensure that even if he's at low level, he wouldn't be wiped out. So that's really useful. And similarly for Agate, even if he is wiped out, he has this immunity, which allows him to stay on for a bit longer. So both of them are really helpful to fulfill the condition of you having enough knights by the end of the battle. But other than that, you just need to bring the most defensive with the healing knight. So good candidates would be for fire. You can either bring Agate or Aris Mu for the healing instead. For water, I would recommend bringing Moses. If you have unlocked Moses armor and constellation, that'd be great. But otherwise, just bring Moses because like the most defensive knight. Unless I have Libra Shuru at high enough level. Otherwise, basically bring one of the water tanks. For wind, bring Misty, and for earth, bring Hound Asteria, and then bring Poseidon for your rainbow slot. That normally tends to be the best one I've seen in order to make sure that you hold on for as long as possible. But this is definitely going to be the hardest stage out of there. Next one we have, I believe this is Libra Doko. Once again, there's nothing really you need to be wary of. Just bring your most offensive knight and just try to deal as much damage as you can. Just really no trick here. You just need to be strong enough. Then we have what would be the next stage here? Oh, Scorpio Mirror, I believe the next one. So Scorpio Mirror, once again, you need to in order to fulfill the condition, I believe you need to have at least 4 knights remaining at the end, and he does take out your knights really quickly. So once again, using similar kind of trick to Shaka, what you want to do here is bring defensive and healing knight, but also most importantly, bring your Agate or Poseidon in your first slot. I recommend bring your Poseidon and Agate in the front row with Poseidon on the right hand side. So Poseidon is going to be the first one that Mirror is going to try to take out. But because Poseidon have this 5-second immunity and bounce at the start, he is not going to suffer any damage. So that buys you a bit of time already. And even if he is taken out, you don't have Agate, who essentially have 2 lives. So that should be long enough for you to stay in the battle and then deal enough damage to wipe out Scorpion Mirror. So that's basically the trick for Scorpion Mirror here. Next, we have Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, you basically need to heal your own Sagittarius Knight. So basically just bring as many healers as you can. So once again, for fire, you want Aris Mu. For wind, you want Misty. For earth, you want Hound Asteria. So basically, that's the only thing. For water, you can either bring in whatever. You can either bring in Cancer Deathmask because he will slow down Cosmo, or preferably if you have Athena or Moses, that would probably be even better. Just for Moses for that kind of debuff effect and Athena for healing, etc. Alright, so that's Sagittarius. For Capricorn Shura is quite tricky. There is a bit of technique. So if you look at description here, basically what he says is that Capricorn Shura will lose 1 stack of his Will of Excalibur if he takes a lot of HP damage within 2 seconds. So basically that just means that you don't want to fire all of your attacks at once. You want to charge up all of your ultimate and then fire them in one go. However, I have tried. it's actually really hard to deplete his will of Excalibur through pure damage. So you still need a bit of healing. And the best knight I found for this stage is Aris Mu, because Aris Mu's ultimate actually have a blinding effect, which is actually even more useful than any kind of healing. So what you want to do here is you want to rotate between blinding, uh, healing, and also dealing high amount of damage in a short amount of time. So basically, you rotate in the sense that you blind him. Once the blinding effect goes away, you put up a shield with Misty or some kind of healing to make sure you have enough. Once that's done, you fire off your ultimates, etc. in one go. Try to break his will of Casper. Hopefully that buy you enough time so Aris Mu have his blinding ultimate up again, and then you can release it just before Capricorn Shore is about to do damage, etc. And you just rotate. That normally works quite well. This is also one of the more trickier stages, but there is definitely a bit of a technique here that you can deploy against it. Next, we have a Curse Canvas. Once again, I don't think there's any trick. You just need to bring your highest damage in and just do as much damage as you can. And lastly, we have Pisces Aphrodite. The Pisces Aphrodite is very hard if you try to clear it by brute force. And by brute force, I mean you try to bring lots of healers or try to last long enough in the battle. One trick I have found is that you just need to borrow Aphrodite from one of your friends. So basically, just bring you know, Captain America full 16-star Aphrodite. Aphrodite is immune to poison. So basically, by default, if you have Aphrodite in your team, he's not going to be affected by any of the poison in the stage. So he would only die through pure battle, through pure damage. And that basically lasts you so much longer. So what you want to do here is just to do a combination of healing and also Aphrodite. If you have one yourself, that's great. If you don't, then just borrow one from your friends. So basically, once again, similar kind of supporting defensive healing formation with your Aris Mu, Hound Asterion, Misty, and also your Aphrodite for the water sport. All right, and lastly, you have the Masters Palace. That one is quite straightforward as well. You just I have never had trouble with that. That's normally one of the first one I clear, in fact. So it should be quite straightforward here. Because you get multiple tries as well. So even if your knights killed off, you can just continue off with your second team, etc. So that's actually a really easy one. Okay, cool. I done a quick walkthrough of every single one of them. Most of them, like I said, you just need to be a high enough level, and there's no trick around that. But for the few which there is a bit of a technique, I'll be showing a demonstration through the clips now. So now let's go into the clips. Now I will show you the first clip, which is for Aris Mu. So at the start of the battle, you do all of your normal stuff. Now he's going to put up a crystal wall, so all of the damage will be reflected. What you can see is that here I have my ultimates charged up. What I am going to do is I'm going to activate my air shield for my Misty because that's healing. That's not actually doing any damage, so I don't need to worry about the reflection damage here. And I'll just heal myself. However, you can see I have my Deathmask ultimate also charged up, but I'm not going to release it because otherwise I'll just be taking damage onto myself. Now that his crystal wall is gone, you can see all of my other knights ultimates getting charged up, and that's when I then start firing all of them in a go without needing to worry about the bounce damage. Aris Mu's own attack is slightly different because it has a blind effect. So I'm actually going to time it so when here you can see the opponent's Aris Mu jumps up about to release his attack, and that's when I use my own Aris Mu. You do have to be careful here. My goal is obviously trying to blind him so that I don't take too much damage from his ultimate. However, keep in mind he has his crystal wall on, so you have to think about, if you launch your own ultimate, how much health does your Aris Mu have? Would they actually kill off yourself because of the bounce damage? In my case, my Aris Mu has quite a lot of health, so I'm not too worried about that. As you can see, I was at full health before. After I launched my ultimate, I got down to only about 20%. So that was actually quite risky. So that's something you may have to try out a bit. But I do think it's a good idea to save Aris Mu's own ultimate for when he's about to launch the attack, just for that blinding effect. Now you can see he would do all of those damage, but they are not affecting me. And I finish off with all of the ultimate once the crystal wall is gone. So that's how you win against Aris Moon. In this second video, I'll be showing you a demo for against Taurus Aldebaran. Now, he will be reflecting damage all the time, so you can't really time it till after Crystal Wall, etc. So the only ultimate, you can see I have a lot of ultimate charge up, but the only ultimate I'm ever gonna use will be for Misty's healing. Just so that I can, because that's not doing any damage, so I don't need to worry about kind of the reflections, etc. Oh, also, of course, Aris move, but I'm not using that for damage purposes. I'm using that for blinding purposes to make sure I survive a bit longer. So yeah, any of the other ultimate you can see, I just let it run. I'm not actually going to release them. Misty and Aris Moon are the only ones that I'll actually be using ultimate just for utility effects. So yeah, so that's pretty much the only trick you need to remember for Taurus Abaddon. Just make sure you delay the battle long enough so all of your normal attack can kill off the enemy without needing to do a high amount of burst damage with your ultimates. Now I'll show you the clip for Cancer Desma. So for Cancer Desma, as I mentioned, you want to bring in Leo, Aurora, and also Cancer Desma because every single time when you kill off one of those Skeleton Knight, and remember you to kill 50 of them. So, but every single time when you kill one of them, it's going to buff your team. So that's super helpful. So you definitely want to bring those. I also bought Hound Asterion for both the healing effect and also the fact his ultimate actually deals quite a lot of damage to multiple enemies. So once again, that's useful for clearing out skeleton knights, etc. I also bought Poseidon. Poseidon in series should also be quite strong because this is going to be a long-lasting battle. And as Poseidon build up more Cosmo, he's going to get stronger as well. So that's the reason why I bought everyone. Now what you can see is at the top, right now you can see 15 out of 20. Once it hits 20, that's when Desmond is going to come out. And now you can see I'm kind of saving up all of my ultimates or all of my damage dealing ultimates. I'm not going to use them anymore. And the reason being is that I want to release them in one go when Deathmarks appear. Now you can see Deathmarks health bar. There are two white lines. Basically what happens is when Desmos health drop below the first white bar, he will go away hiding. And then he will be keep on hiding until you kill about 40 or 45 skeleton knight, and then he will come again. And once his health drops below this white bar, then he'll go hiding again, etc. Now that wastes a lot of time. So you definitely don't want that to happen, which is why even though Desmos is coming out, I'm not releasing any of my ultimates yet. I'm gonna save my ultimate for just when the health is just above the health bar, just above the white bar, and then release them in one go and try to do as much damage as I can. So here you can see I'm still holding on, releasing Misty because that's a healing one, that's not damaging. Now you can see that's almost about to go in hiding. That's why I release all of my ultimate in one go, and I managed to successfully wipe out the entire health bar as a result. So this will save me a huge amount of time. I don't then need to wait for Desma to, come back again after I kill off 40 skeleton knights. And sometimes if that do happen, if you don't manage to kill him off in one go, and his health is below the second white bar, as soon as he come out, he is gonna go into hiding almost like instantly. So if that did happen, what you need to do is as soon as he come out for the second time, release all of your ultimate in one go and really try to kill him off in that 1 second that he appears briefly. So basically that's what you want to do. As for the rest of this video, I'm just gonna let it run through just to show you that I managed to finish it off. It was a quite close one actually, as you can see. I still need to kill 5 more in the last 10 seconds, etc. So if I didn't do this tactic of wiping out Desma in one go, I wouldn't have enough time to clear the stage here. Okay, now I'm going to show you Virgo Shaka, which is definitely, in my opinion, the hardest stage in the 12 palaces. You can see here I brought in my Agate and Poseidon, and this is just so to ensure that I survive, let my knights survive as long as possible. Don't pay attention to the star level here because, like I said, I only managed to clear the second last level at the time of recording rather than the last one. So you probably need your knights to be even stronger than this, you know, to clear it. Now, at the start of the battle, Shaka is going to release his thing. You can see that Poseidon still have his beginning bounce effect on, so that's why he's completely protected. Agati has actually taken the damage, and normally he would have died. But once again, because he has his immunity, so that's why I managed to bring him onto the stage, even though he's only a 6-star. So that's kind of why I brought Agati in and he managed to survive. During this time, I'm getting my Hound Asterion and Misty to heal all of my knights back onto my full health. And I'm letting my Misty to put up a shield later on, yeah, now, with his ultimate to help to protect against the second attack, etc. Which worked quite nicely. See, the second attack only managed to break off the shield, but didn't actually do too much damage to my knights. For the water source, ideally, you want to bring Athena for healing or Moses to debuff, etc. Now I'm going to show you the clip for Scorpion Mirror. So you can see here I have on the right hand side, on the front line, on the right hand side I have my Poseidon. This is the position that Scorpion Mirror is normally going to attack first, and that's why I position my Poseidon there. Poseidon put up his bounce shield at the start of battle for the first 5 seconds. So this has allowed me to make sure he is able to survive at least that long. So you can see here Scorpion Mirror marked him and also went straight onto him to do loads of damage. However, this is still within the first 5 seconds, so therefore Poseidon is protected from his this kind of like almost lethal damage hit. So Poseidon's still alive, and it's only when Scorpion Mirror is gonna do the second attack. That's when Poseidon, I believe, is gonna be killed off. But that's okay. Now he's gonna move on to my Agati in the second spot. Now Agati has his immunity, so even if Agati is unlucky and fell in the battle, his immunity is gonna make sure that he still stay on the battle and still count as alive, and that's super useful. So now you can see Agati is at quite low health. Mirror is probably gonna wipe him out soon. Yep, Mirror has wiped him out. However, you can see here Agati has his kind of flame around him. That basically shows that he is technically dead, but he has immunity. And whilst he has immunity, when he hits someone, he is able to recharge a bit of health. Well, maybe that health is generations actually from Misty's shield. I don't know. But basically, either way, he should have been killed off normally. However, his immunity makes him able to stay on. And that is basically what allows me to finish this stage with 4 knights in the end. Now I'm going to show you a clip for Capricorn Shura, which is also quite a hard stage, and there's a bit of a strategy you need to do here, which is alternating between various different ultimates and healing and control effects, etc. So at the start, make sure you obviously survive the first few attacks, etc. But basically what you're doing is waiting for all of your ultimate to charge up. So now you can see when Capricorn Shura is about to release his ultimate, this is where I then use my Aris Moose uh, ultimate to blind him, and therefore this will allow me afterwards to dodge over the attack because he has been blinded. I haven't used any of my other ultimates yet, so I'm still saving them up for the next time round. Now, you can see the enemy's Capricorn Shura is about to raise his hand again. I don't think it's the ultimate. I think it's that one of the other small skills, but you don't want to take a risk here. So basically, every single time, as soon as Capricorn Shura's hand move, you want to do something with it. And here's where I have my Misty putting up a shield, and I'm gonna do all of my ultimate with the other characters to try to have the shield protect against the ultimate, but also having all of the other damage dealing ultimate to break him. So here you can see that his ultimate only broke our shield, but we also managed our damage done enough, so he broke down briefly there. And this bought us enough time for all of our other ultimates, especially Aris Moose ultimate, to be charged up again. And this is now you can see the pattern repeats. Capricorn Shura is about to raise his hand to release ultimate, and then I use Aris Moose ultimate to blind him, and therefore dodge his attack. Cool. Now you can see the enemy's Capricorn Shura is about to release something again. However, he's still been blinded because Aris Moose ultimate blind for I think was 3 or 4 seconds, which is quite nice. So I didn't have to do anything there. But the next time Capricorn Shura is about to do something, I will then need to use all my shields, etc. Okay, now you can see Capricorn Shura raise his hand again for ultimate. And this is where I'm going to release my Mystic Shield and all of the other ultimates, etc. and try to break him down. Here you can see his ultimate hit straight at our shield, and then he broke down afterwards from all of the other damage dealing ultimate. And this give me time for my Aris Mu to charge up his attack again. Now you can see once again, Capricorn Shura is about to release some kind of attack. And whilst I still have the shield, I didn't want to take any risk because my ultimates for Aris Mu is already charged up. So I decided to just go for a hit to blind him, especially considering this is toward the last few Will of Excalibur already. Okay, so now this is still blinding him. I believe this attack has still been blinded, and therefore I was immune. But I think I was being slightly rushed there and released one ultimate because I wasn't sure whether he was still being blinded. Now that the blind effect's gone, I decided to put up the shield just to protect myself. And once again, because it's towards the end, I just decided to hit off the damage dealing ultimate, try to break him down. And for the final 1 or 2 Will Excalibur, the same pattern repeats. I'm going to use Aris Mu's ultimate to blind him. And then once that's done, I am then going to use lots of shields and damage dealing ones to break him down. And voila, this is how you then clear Capricorn Shura stage.